what drove that decision to switch what you were growing?
Yeah, bottom line, it was economics.
Mm-hmm.
But if you dive deeper into economics, it was really the cost of finding housing for our
Mm-hmm.
seasonal employees. For our sweet corn operation alone, we were having to bring in 250 seasonal people for about 6-week period.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to find people that, of course, we had to, similar to the H-2A program, we had to provide transportation to Colorado and then back to their home. They were actually based out of Florida. But then to find housing, seasonal housing for 6 weeks for 250 people was just outrageous.
Right.
Fortunately or unfortunately, the Denver economy is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
The housing economy is such that even year-round people are having a hard time finding affordable housing. So it really was the challenge of finding housing for that seasonal workforce.
Right. Is that part of why you're spending so much more time now working with legislature and you're trying to address some of these issues?
Yeah, exactly. Our former governor, Governor Hickler, where we were starting to go down the road of having some conversations about, if you look at the city and county of Denver, they're really having an issue dealing with the homeless population. So we were thinking, are there other partnerships that we could form in working with housing for the homeless as well as seeking housing for the seasonal employees? So, I think you were talking about out of the box. I think we need to be looking at some of these out-of-the-box ideas or partnerships that we can form that may be really beneficial for agriculture. I mean, it's just like water. I was half joking with the municipality in the Denver metro area that they should actually buy my farm because water is so tight. The value of our water on our farm is actually more valuable than the land because we're under conditions where medicinal and industrial growth is occurring so fast that they need so much more water. I said, why don't you buy my farm? I'll manage the farm, and then I'll grow the vegetables that you can sell to your citizens. And the years that you actually decide that you're short of water for the city, you can just take it from the farm.
Right.
So, who knows? Maybe there'll be some of these unusual partnerships in the future that can benefit really all parties involved.
Okay. You're talking about looking at outside the box and housing. After some natural disasters, Katrina comes to mind.
Yeah, right.
There's a big effort on how to create affordable and livable houses. Have you heard anyone ever discuss looking at those models? Because with the Katrina, it was called the Katrina Cottage. And they brought in architects from all over the country who were designing, small houses that were 600 square feet, that type of thing. And at the time, there was a supplier, national chain that was going to supply all of the building goods for a certain cost, so that you could build the house for, you could get all the supplies for everything, including appliances, for under $50,000. It'd be delivered to your job site, and you had to pay for HVAC, the foundation, and that type of thing. I wonder, though, if there's anything like that out there.
Yeah, you don't know. You never know who you're going to run into. I was down in Florida for a totally different event and ran into a person that was actually part of a group that was putting up the temporary housing down there for different disasters like that. And it was interesting to talk about them, what they were doing. I think it's really going to be location specific, whether that's going to be workable or not. Just like in our area, local zoning ordinances and just the demand for full-time family housing. Nobody was going to be too excited for us to put up any type of underscale, quote unquote, housing, so to speak. So, and from an economic standpoint, and somebody even told me this once. He said, "Well, you know what? Economically, you'd be better off to build an apartment building and just rent it out because the demand is there."
And I know some growers have done that.
Yeah. Why do you want to build a structure and only use it 6 months out of the year?
Right.
So.
Okay, well, it's been great talking with you. I'm glad you're able to come in here to our studio and
It's a
chat
pleasure.
with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right.